Yay!
Well,
We're finally here.
We are finally here. This is an interesting setup.
Yeah, across table. With beautiful lake nearby.
Yeah.
The second we saw this
Online,
place,
it was like
we were just like, bam!
Picture
Imagine
that.
doing videos.
Yeah.
And to actually now be here.
Yeah.
Woo!
Finally.
But hello guys, what's good? This is gonna be a mix-a-roo vid, to be honest.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. So you're finally out of hospital for how many days you're in there?
So yeah, 4 days.
Yeah.
4 days, and it's come at such a weird time.
Yeah.
A day before we were going to start Strangers in Paradise, of which I don't think I'm going to be capable of playing. Going to have to play some easy
Chill
GG, some turn-based maybe.
Yeah.
Honestly, the one that's kind of calling that you guys suggest, well, there was like Stray.
I've heard good things about that.
Yeah.
There's been some really good reviews.
I just can't see myself getting excited by wandering around as a cat.
But you bonded with Garnet, the cat.
I did.
Bring back those memories. I think somebody said on Twitter, actually.
Why are you going to mention Garnet?
We all miss it.
Yeah, I befriended a cat in our last place before we went to the accursed Monkey Island.
Yeah.
I fell in love with that cat. Never had a relationship.
Cool cat.
I didn't think cats were
No, I've always been a dog person
legends.
myself.
Yeah. There's a few vids that we've already recorded, that we've been recording over Fifi Island.
Yeah.
What Final Fantasy means to me now, we climbed up to a summit, and I was having a real reflect on what the series means to me at this stage, and at this stage being post my own Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
It's very much what it's been like. And we were talking about the last year and a half and all the happenings. None of it is normal.
No, not at all.
Totally bizarre. I mean, so before we jump into the main thing I want to talk about, because it's kind of gamer fatigue.
Yes.
Gamer fatigue is something, I don't know, I've never felt fatigued by Final Fantasy or by games themselves. For me, the fatigue came from the lifestyles living around it.
Yeah.
Even you've kind of been burnt out the last year. Would you describe it as burnout?
I think it goes back to what you were saying. It's not the games themselves, but it's the idea that you could be filling your time with more productive means, if that makes sense. So, like, I'm sure there's people out there that would completely disagree with me and they enjoy playing games for that reason. Yeah. But I feel like there's a balance you have to sort of make with it.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you can't just be playing... I mean, one thing when I did, obviously I was unemployed for about a year because I decided to quit my job.
Yeah, you just quit it off, right?
Because it was just getting... couldn't be asked with it at all.
Yeah.
Like, it was too much. I say too much because I'm sure there's people out there that have worked much worse jobs than I have. And it wasn't a bad job, but when you don't feel like it's fulfilling your needs...
Yeah, I mean, it's all subjective.
Yeah.
What's considered, what one person can handle. Yeah. Especially the older generations, my granddad, being able to be a furniture salesman for 50 years straight.
Yeah.
Straight. Most of the time not even having a holiday. And I'd say he was content to do that, but honestly, I feel like sometimes you just don't really know any different.
No.
Know what else is out there, what other kind of experiences to be had. And
sometimes being too afraid to take the plunge to look for other experiences as well. If you're sort of happy in that area, you're comfortable in your comfort zone, and that's all you know, so that's saying better the devil you know than the devil you don't. Sort of thing, so.
But it's also the idea that productivity is the highest metric we all need to hang our hats on. Yeah. How productive are we? Yeah. And it's a bit of a double-edged sword because it's true and it's not true. A lot of people think being productive does mean showing up at work, building up a portfolio of whatever it is, your house, your savings, your life, your material possessions, yada yada. And that's all true to a degree, but it's also a bit of a fallacy. You know, that productivity is, we're here to be productive. But at the same time, and I very much have always hated that. That's why I'm so much like anti-work. I see a lot of value in doing nothing. Yeah. Doing nothing is honestly the place where I've had my best arcs. I've had my most profound realizations. I've gone into deeper experiences. It's where the fantasy started becoming reality for me, where I wasn't just experiencing these more transcendent experiences that we can have, that we see through video games, especially like Final Fantasy, like our heroes going on a journey, overcoming hardships, having these encounters, these trials, tribulations, and the beauty that could be found at the bottom of that tricky cesspool.
And I think that's where, going back to the Burnout side of games, like I said, after I finished my job, I went through a bit of a phase of just thinking, oh yeah, I can play as many games as I want now.
Yeah, right.
And that didn't last very long, to my surprise. Because I've always been into games, come back from work, you sit down, it's one of the things you want to do.
Yeah.
And you kind of feel like all these adventures you go on with these characters, I should be doing that myself.
Yeah.
I should be building my own character up and
I should be putting some stats in.
Yeah.
My agility has gone down to -10. My intellect, I've smoked that down to -20, and you do. There's a natural feeling in you, isn't it? There's kind of, whether you realise it or not, it's keeping note of these stats.
Yeah.
And I feel like every human being does need, on some level, to feel like they're growing, evolving, moving forward, and that's the kind of productivity that we truly all need to have going on in our lives, rather than the artificial one that's kind of served up to us, that going and busting your dick off for 40 hours in a workplace. That qualifies being productive. I hate to bring my granddad up again, but hard-working fella, so much respect to him, but he hung his whole life up on that, and he could not see anything but that being productive, spending time with family, spending time going out on trips. He never saw the world. He never really experienced a whole lot of anything in his whole life, and I knew it was playing out in his life, especially growing up around him. Me having such a passion for video games, I think most grandparents hate it and see it as completely pointless.
It's
worthwhile. He would come in, and even like drama, I'd be rehearsing for like a drama show, or he would come in and be like, well, you're wasting your time. Your time with these stupid video games. What were you watching? Cartoons? It's anime, grandfather. It's anime. What a bunch of childish nonsense. Real stick up his ass, kind of granddad. So a little backstory to this, I suppose, because it kind of plays so perfectly. Being that the very arm the predominant gamer arm, like even if it was my left hand, I could kind of get away with Strangers in Paradise, or any game, because it's sort of just your left hand's the directional. I could just sort of crip that. But I mean, this is the one that's got to pull off all the
button mashing.
Yeah, the button
fat fingers engaged.
Fat fingers engaged, and my fingers definitely are fat, but that's just from an incredible amount of swelling. So we'll throw some clips in. But we were chilling on a beach down in Fifi Island. We saw a guy with a kayak, and we were like, this is our last day. Because this is the thing, there's nothing on this planet, I've come to realise, that you don't get burnt out from eventually. Because I was saying, when I quit my main job, and I was like, oh my gosh, my future from here on out is playing Final Fantasy games online, on stream. I've got it. This is going to be a font of everlasting energy and passion, and it will never, ever, ever die out. But it's not so much just the games, is it? It's the lifestyle you lead around it.
Exactly.
Gamers, very typically, we're the ones who will stay up late until nth o'clock in the morning. We don't respect our body clocks at all. We sort of get up, get straight on the game. We're skipping breakfast. We're not really going out and seeing the sunlight or touching arse to grass, and just all these other myriad of little things that it does. It just mutes your energy. Just drops your energy off a cliff. And all of a sudden, that translates onto, and you can easily think it's because of the game. And in part, it is. I found myself at stages where I can't find a passion for anything. And then travelling was honestly a big part of it. So the Final Fantasy so far for me consists of, we got in a kayak. It was like last day. We felt really, really not tired with travelling around, but I think neither of us. We've kind of done so many travels over the last year. Bike packing in Scotland, going to Peru, and I did Southeast Asia before, and then I went to America. I had all these different arcs, highs, lows, suffering, being out in the wild, seeing different sceneries and settings. Now, me getting farmed by a monkey for XP. He would have got mad XP from me, that little monkey prick. But I found myself even burned out by travelling.
You did?
Yeah, oh yeah. There was a big part of coming out here, and I kept saying to you, I was like, I can fully understand if you've still got like energy to like go travelling, but you were kind of not even feeling it really either. We were just very much in a mindset that we'll do a little bit of that, but we want to get a place. We're in this place for a whole month. Just we don't want to be moving around. We just want to get back to the OG pleasure, the OG joy, which is video games. And there's been so many times over the last year that I've wanted to start streaming again and doing vids, and I've missed you guys so freaking much, and so many times I sort of guilt-tripped myself for being away, and oh my god, what am I leaving on the table? Think of how much sub growth I'm missing out on. Right? Or just even eking myself over 100k and staying there. But I knew I needed to not artificially try to jumpstart my passion for coming back. Talking about the series, seeing what's going on in the gaming sphere, which is all very interesting. A lot of cool trailers, which we'll do a trailer react vid soon.
We need to react to, which we'll definitely get around to. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and a lot of exciting happenings at Square Enix that make me feel, in the last vids I covered, optimistic on the direction. And yeah, just to actually be feeling it, and we were kind of busting vids, weren't we? We were chatting about the stream so much over to FIFA, and we're like, okay, you know what, this is the last day though. Let's go out on just one last adventure.
It did start off as a day that we were just going to chill out on the beach, have a few drinks and that, swim in the sea, because we hadn't done any sort of like swimming in that really. And then we decided. And
I can't remember why we got the kayak idea. Oh yeah, we wanted to fly a drone from the kayak.
That was it,
Yeah, just to get some B-roll footage. But anyway, so this is us taking our kayak, sploop, sploop, sploop. Beautiful day. The sun's out, which hasn't been happening a tremendous amount now.
It's been very overcast.
It's their like tropical rain season out here. Off we go, and then we arrive on the beach. Monkeys everywhere, one side, vicious lot. I decide to stay away from them. You're snorkeling. I'm sat. Now, context for how I got this next clip. Because a lot of people, when they found out I was bit, the original reaction is to laugh. Monkey bite. I even laugh at it myself. Like, it's funny.
It's an interesting animal to be bitten by. It's not much of
and a lot of people are like, what did you do? Did you poke the monkey? Did you antagonise? Even my insurance company and the doctors, they were like, were you drunk? Which,
was weird.
That's when it gets a little bit insulting.
It does.
Especially when your insurance company is just trying to wrangle away out.
Find a way of not paying you out.
Because a few grand later, this monkey took that was like a $2,500 bite that motherfucker took.
You weren't messing around.
But for as fun it is, oh my god, the pain, the amount of swelling. When you do go to a doctor, 3 days later and it's not healed, and he's looking at it and sort of bringing in nurses and their reactions, and they're like, we've got to get you in the hospital within the next few hours. The chances that infection's about to spread to the rest of your body. There's little moments like that, especially even when they're like digging around and like pain levels that are... See, I felt like the pain level was like 9 and above from my perception of how high pain can go. You never really know how high pain can go.
No,
any rating is only ever based off your perception of how... But for me, it was like 9. Which also, to see them right in the medical report, they were like pain levels. They're like 6. There's a side you look at, you're like, 6?
How can they tell what somebody's...
Screw you! 6. I'll give you a 6. Christ.
I do not get that one.
I suppose it was like bouncing around at a 6, like the majority of the time, with just occasional flashes up to 9. When they decide to stick stuff in. It's a hole that's like that deep in my arm. Just about missed the muscle. But I still don't have control over my hand. Does this look like a hand that can kill chaos? Chaos. I will defeat chaos. I mean, I have literally got Oren's arm right now. I've got Oren's arm. And he was still a badass. He still kicked ass. Yeah, Oren's floppy arm. Anyway, yeah, so context for this shot, I'm sat, there's no monkeys, and I see a monkey about 10 feet away. I'm like, ooh, this is really close, because I was just texting someone. I saw the monkey, I put my phone on record, and then bam, I'll just roll the clip. He came at me. He came at me, and yeah, like what it was is I was filming and I saw just sort of this furry thing come right up to the next side of me, and your immediate reaction is just to go, like turn.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of like here, I'm sort of frozen, and there was just about 3 seconds. I don't want to. And then he was just like, yeah, I want your snacks, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And he just, bam. It was like a flash second that happened. Before I knew it, I was in the ocean, arm bleeding out. Bam, bam, bam. Went to the hospital and got discharged yesterday.
You did. Yeah, it was a lot of travelling. I say a lot of travelling between that. It was obviously that happened on Fifi Island, didn't it? And you had that for a couple of days. Then we had to travel to where we are now in Krabi.
Yeah.
Find a hospital there.
Which that's really fun when your arm's like falling off.
Yeah.
It used to be on a bumpy speedboat for 2
And
hours.
compared to the day we came into Fifi Island, it was pretty calm.
Yeah.
For some reason, it must have been a bit more. I don't know. It was much more bumpy. Like,
yeah, but also the morning after getting this bandaged up, it decided to monsoon, the likes of which we had never seen.
Yeah.
The roads were completely flooded. It was almost up to below knee height.
Yeah.
So there I am with my bandage, trying not to get it wet, wading
Don't get
through.
it wet. Don't get it wet, and it's just fucking pissing it down.
We're just wading our way out of the island, and then came here. So this is Krabi. This is like southeast Thailand.
Yeah, it's
very, very rural. Gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, we are as well, especially. It's very picturesque. I think we're near a sort of jungle area. Like we haven't ventured out too far because we haven't been able to at the moment. But hopefully we'll get some good.
Oh, I want to do a few vids like this from the little boat we have that we can just sail across the lake with. But honestly, if I fall in, GG. That water will kill me if that gets in his arm.
I don't even really want to swim in there, to be fair. Like they said you can, but
there's like some giant ass lizards in there, aren't there?
That he goes past every day. I think there's 2 of them actually.
It's like this big. Yeah. It's an absolute honk chonk.
It is.
So we got here and couldn't stream, and it just gave us more time to sort of plan, create assets. Like we're going to be bringing back the chat bot and all the other really cool things that were built over like the years of streaming that just made it such a fun experience. So fun. And even just in that little stream we did, having like weird Asian snacks, like that was, it was just ridiculous. There was no theme to it. We were just scatting and chatting. But the feeling that I had after that stream, that I'd returned home, and I was like, yes, this is like the time that I'm
felt right.
So excited to get lost in something again. Because for me, I've had so many times, like types of gamer burnout. I've had the kind that's just induced from overplaying. It's a pretty normal one.
Oh yeah.
Where you kind of just hitting the same kind of titles, or the titles that you are hitting just aren't really resonating with where you're at. I feel like this is a big part of gamer burnout, because we all go through different emotional arcs and emotional states and things we're tackling with. I was feeling that, and I played a few games, it just weren't happening, and then I played Type 0. And Type 0 was just dark and heavy and sad, and I just spent the whole night at the end just crying like a massive baby, and it was the most cathartic thing. It was in line with where I was at. I was kind of able to project that sort of need to just have an emotional sort of outpour. It was very pent up and overdue, and the game did that. The game did that, and it was the same as like Final Fantasy VII. When I first played that as a kid, I was dealing with a lot of like young trauma stuff, and I played like Dino Crisis, Destruction Derby, Resident Evil, Crash, and mixed to a whole load of games. None of them quite hit the right spot for me as a kid. And then Seven came in with just these themes, this tonality, these lessons, these interactions between characters, and it just clicked in every regard. Where it was like, it was so valuable, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I don't know if you had any examples of those where a right game came at kind of the right time.
I mean, I was going to bring up the point that obviously, how old were you when you played 7? Sorry, it was.
So I was late to the game. I was like 11. PS2 was out.
But even then, at that age, a game like that to be ingrained in your life. Like when I was growing up, I played stuff like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, which I wouldn't say really that emotionally engaging. They're fun. Like they play for that childlike aspect of your life when you're a kid, and when you're growing up. It wasn't sort of till I got a bit older that I think I played games that I've got more emotionally attached to. Like I think it's 2 of the stronger ones for me, and I think I mentioned on the stream the other day were definitely the Red Dead Redemption games.
Yeah, you always mention Red Dead.
Like especially number 2, like how long that game is and how much time you spend with that character.
Yeah.
And you're following him through like these changes in his life. He starts as a really pretty unlikable character. He's a bit of an arsehole towards people.
Yeah.
And something happens in that he starts sort of rethinking his methods on life, like what he's doing, and
his perspective changes.
Yeah, and the way that the game finishes is really upsetting because you feel like you've really
grown alongside these characters, right?
Really grown alongside him.
Yeah, and it's crazy to me still how effective that format is for a lot of games, which is to introduce our characters deeply flawed and unlikable, and then watch their evolution. It was something that really switched over at FF7. It was such a flashpoint from anything we previously had in Final Fantasy. I feel like a lot of games, when characters started getting a lot more fleshed out, when they started being more than just 2D sort of tropes. And then we saw with like 8, they doubled down on the arseholiness even more. 13, everyone's a douche canoe. And it's the journey. Yeah. It's the journey of seeing them grow. That's so satisfying. And yet to still see when a character like that comes in, how many people would hate on them, roast on them. I mean, even outside of games, been watching Rings of Power.
Got no episode tonight.
Got no episode tonight.
Yeah, today is Friday, isn't it?
Nice, we'll watch that. Like Galadriel, to see how many people are... She's like this stoic, hard-ass, unlikable biatch. I'm like, good, nice. Like, she's a strong character that is obviously flawed, and you kind of see it in the story. It's done with the dude that she's with as well. Even he's a bit of a prick. The ones that on the boat, I won't say too much for spoilers.
Yeah. But even that is character development. Like I think,
which is just the second that I see a character like that now, I'm just like, good. The show's just starting. Like, sweet. I'm here to see where this goes. I'm immediately open-minded to the character.
Yeah. I mean, with the Rings of Power stuff, I haven't really.
It's got like a 2.5 on Metacritic.
Has it really?
It's getting stank.
So why is it getting?
In all honesty, controversial take. I don't know, but I liked it. I actually liked it. I liked everything with the hobbits and what kind of they're like. It's like this very skittish, wild kind of Harfoots.
Harfoots, that's it. So they're like the predecessors to...
Yeah, and everything with all the characters that we know, Celebrimbor, Elrond, Galadriel.
So did you play the Middle-earth games?
Yeah, I played the first one.
So seeing his character come into it and just
very cool.
I enjoyed his character in the game as well.
Yeah,
quite a bit. So I'm really interested.
I thought everything with the dwarves, fantastic, nailed dwarves, and I felt like I was watching Lord of the Rings. Just me personally. But here's what I've kind of realised over the last year of stepping away from a lot of comforts, a lot of pleasures. Because that's the thing. It's not just been sort of extracting myself from games. Like Gamer Burnout. For me, it's been a top-down overhaul. I mean, you know me. How much is Pez my persona and how much of it is real me?
I think there's a big... For me, when I notice it, there's quite a big divide. Like,
yeah, because you know the me, and
yeah, that's one thing you've obviously spoken about, isn't it, with Pez? Like the actual personas that have you felt a bit burnt out from that as well? Like,
absolutely,
like
absolutely.
It's a big energy commitment. Like to be that sort of. Obviously, I know you get excited over the games you do. Like there's no doubt about that. But to be able to hyping stuff up, it takes a lot, doesn't it? Like,
yeah, and it's something that more than anything is why I also need to take a big step away, which was to come back to who I am.
Yeah.
And realize that while I do have this side to me, that when you do point a camera at me, I naturally become far more exuberant. It just sort of naturally comes out. And I like that energy.
Yeah.
I loved streaming for countless hours, because that's the thing, you can't, I would do a stream for 6 hours and I'd be in that kind of state.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You can't fake it for that long. Now, of course, is it real me? No, it's not real me. No human being is that ridiculous and over the top and zany and kind of cringe. Yeah, it doesn't exist. But when I had the camera on me and I was feeling really excited, it naturally came out. But then that started getting me clicks, and that started getting me likes, and that started getting me views. And now I feel like, I'm really low energy. So, here's this really predefined, pre-packaged persona that while Jake's tired and he's got all this shit going on in his life and he feels bad and he feels burnt out and he feels like, what is he doing? Why is he just getting lost in these fantasy worlds?
I'm sure I read an article somewhere that somebody sort of spoke about this, and it was that gamers definitely have the want to sort of experience more in life and things like that, like in the real world. But it's, I mean, something I've suffered from. Like, it's pushing yourself forward and wanting to go and do. That's one of the reasons to come out here to do this, because I've just got to that point where I need to push myself, and I think games allow you to experience that without having to leave.
Without having to leave it,
You're living these lives of these people that you're just, and it's your experience still in a way. Like your playthrough of one game might be different to somebody else's, like the way they played it, especially RPGs, like when you've got character choice and decision making and things like that. And now they've sort of like games, for example, I mean, like the Outer Worlds was a game that I played where there was a lot of decision making stuff and changed the playthrough and things like that, like good and bad choices. And so that experience is different player to player.
Yeah, even something as simple as that, making critical decisions, life-changing decisions,
it's big decisions,
something that's going to have massive implications and repercussions, and that we kind of play games because there's actually no risk in it. We kind of get to experience the more important elements of life, the harder, overcoming things, without actually having to put ourselves in harm's way or have to confront any difficulties. Yeah. And I just don't think you can get by in life like that, because if you spend your whole life trying to run away from leveling up, if you're always going to stay in the starting area with the level 1 wharf rats and the level 2 merc toads, you'll just be farming and grinding and feeling like you're making no progress. You feel like you're still playing the game of life because you're still showing up and you're still doing the actions of it, but it's not a trial anymore. It's not a challenge. It's not difficult anymore. And it's kind of where it finally clicked in my head that if it feels really uncomfortable, good, this is where I'm supposed to be, because there's something of value to be gained right now. And that's the mindset that kept me going over all of these different arcs that just progressively got harder and harder and longer and more severe and more intense. And they were all through my own choosing. Like I was making this one completely not. No. And yet at the same time, none of like this one just happened to me. I had no choice in it. I didn't antagonize that monkey. Even just with this, the fact that most of the time I'm not in chronic pain day to day like a lot of people. I do have mobility. I can use my arms. Just being holed up. And while, I still felt sorry for myself, my overwhelming feeling was, wow, am I so freaking lucky?
Yeah, it's something that I obviously joined you on the Scotland trip for a bit. I wasn't out there nearly as long as you were.
Yeah.
Because I found it very hard. Like, thrusting myself into that was the first time I'd done anything really like that. But even on the short, like, was I maybe out there for about, was it 2 weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks with you up there?
Yeah.
Even in that time, like, the sort of appreciation you grow, like, you think about people at home, like your friends at home, and you want to go and see them and that, and you get a really strong, feeling of gratification. But I've noticed it's something that you need to hold on to.
Yeah.
Like, it disappears very quickly if you're not mindful of it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, you come back and it's like, oh yeah, I've got running water again, I've got a clean bed to sleep in, clean clothes. That lasts for about 3 or 4 days, and it just disappears. And you
You're
go
right.
to this thing, and you need to. There's something. I think I need to. The reason I come out here is like to develop my characters, almost like, I wouldn't say reverse of what you're doing. Like, you're trying to dial Pez back to like more, whereas now I'm trying to sort of
dial it up
a bit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so.
Dial up your confidence and just the natural ability for who you are just to flow out and express itself rather than being in the backdrop.
Yeah.
That's very much what we spoke about. But you're right, it is. It's even something like being grateful for water or food or shelter or having friends and family, around you who can be there for comfort. When I was stripped away from all of that, I had the gratitude for it. But now, when you come back, it can. And deriving meaning from things.
Yeah.
I think that's what is unique about the human life, is it needs to have meaning. And everything that happens in a Final Fantasy or in any story or game, it has to feel like it's meaningful. There's the purpose for these things happening. That's why we typically are so off with like fetch quests and quests, side quests that just don't really have much meaning to them. Yeah, we just whack them to the side and we totally hate them. Imagine if we approached that same level of scrutiny with our own lives. Anything that didn't feel like it was meaningful or significant or had purpose, we were that ruthless, being like, I'm cutting that out.
One of the games that I have that thought with quite a bit is like, and you probably do as well, is the amount of hours we put into like World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
the
insane hours.
Insane hours, the endless grind of leveling up characters and just to get to the end game. And it's like, I've often thought to myself, what if I just put this effort into my own life? Like, why am I making? I
always thought that with the auction house or RuneScape. I used to wheel and deal. I used to buy up the entire inventory of maple logs, keep the supply limited, then flip it back for insane profits. I was so entrepreneurial as a kid in video games. I was also a bit of a scam artist as well. But if I had kept half of that business savvy,
what you could have...
What we could have done with it. What we could do if we applied half of what Game for Games. And similarly, what we do see in games, movies and TV, in terms of what people are capable of, and I know it's fantasy and whatnot, but fantasy and reality, I don't want to say they're the same, but I do think that reality operates far closer to fantasy than a lot of people realise.
Oh, yeah.
That character when they're down and they're beaten and they're bloodied and they're bruised and they find a way to get up and overcome things where it just seems utterly impossible. It just defy all logic of reason. I do think there are, and we've seen examples of humans who have done that, whether it was Gandhi or Nelson Mandela, or I kept saying Spartans. How often for this, I would see this starting to bleed out in the morning. When you wake up and your whole thing's covered in blood, like from your waist down, and you're just like, there'd be moments, wouldn't I, where I'd just be spinning. Dude, I'm not usually squeamish, but man, this has got me. And then there was a moment I'd be like, but what would Spartans do? Would Spartans, hardened Spartans or berserkers, would they look at a little sort of bit of blood and be so discombobulated by it? Of course they wouldn't.
No, but as I said...
So I'd just kind of be like, well, what would a Spartan do? No, I'm fine. And it would work. It would honestly work. I would adopt the mindset a little bit of just that sort of toughness, and it would push me through. Yeah. And just that ability, in any moment, you have the choice. Whatever it requires, whether it needs a little element of fantasy, what would Zach do? What would Cloud do? Kratos.
Kratos, yes.
What would Kratos do?
What would
Lara do?
Thrall. Is it Thrall?
Who's Thrall?
From the Orc, from Warcraft.
Whoa. Oh, Thrall. Thrall would bugger off and not return for 3 poxy expansions.
That's not using.
What would Vol'jin do? That's where it's at. Well, Vol'jin will get his ass kicked and get murdered. He's dead, right?
Vol'jin didn't. Yeah, he's dead. Yeah, he died. It was sad.
Yeah, it was big
for a
sad.
Warcraft player. He's been there since the beginning,
but it sounds really sad. But that sort of thing often comes to my mind. When I was doing that plant medicine, and the shamans there talk about connecting to the plants and kind of perceiving life in this kind of, like, there's a natural flow and there's a harmony and there's an interconnectedness of everything. There's a perfect symbiosis with everything, and that we have a part to play in it. And I would start thinking about Aerith. I would start kind of channeling a bit of Aerith energy. And you using I so often use characters as motivations or songs. A lot of the time, Final Fantasy songs. The number of times I just see another stacked hill. Night's coming. I've got to find a place to wild camp. I can't see anywhere, it's all overgrown, I'm lost in the middle of a nature reserve, I've got no navigation, I've got no data, no internet, I'm cut off from everything, and I'm not entirely sure if I've got enough water. And yet there's another hill on top of the 4 hills that I thought was the last one, and I've got nothing, and I need to dig in and just either tap into Somnus, or Kiss Me Goodbye, or Tizanakand. Some theme, some tune, Final Fantasy, and just Type 0, often. Type 0 music.
Yeah, I think music, especially from my sort of background, like obviously I grew up with music quite a bit, with my dad playing guitar and I play guitar, so music's definitely one of the ones for me in games, especially that sort of will always stick out. If there's like a good soundtrack behind something and you can just hear it and it really, that often imprints like a certain part of the game onto me.
It is. It's a strong imprint. Yeah. And it's an imprint that evokes something. And what that evokes is like a hardiness or a perseverance or just a level of beauty, profound beauty. Yeah. Something that the second I listen to it, it's not just something that I would feel on an emotional level. Doing 10 hours cycling a day, it would translate physiologically as well. I would feel myself more energized. Yeah. That cramp and that limit that I just felt I'd hit a hard wall with, and there's no way I was going past it. But I needed to. Yeah. I needed to pull something out of the bag to dig deep. And that thing so often, and it just came up again and again, it was something that was archetypical, it was something that was symbolic, it was something that was abstract. Yeah. And the results that I would feel would push me to what I believed I was capable. It kind of takes like a metaphysical quality to it. It does. It feels like magic. Like magic is really happening. Yeah, it's a part of Final Fantasy, and this series that I fell in love with at such a young age. But what I love most about it is just how relevant it stays with me throughout so many different aspects of all the things that have been going on. And it's why the only time that it just really hit me when I was just laid up in that hospital was just feeling that after all these arcs and all these things that I'd gone through, and to feel that Final Fantasy and gaming and just the fantasy genre as a whole, how much it was still a part of me and something I could draw strength from.
Yeah.
In those moments of like serious growth and the more serious arcs, and to feel like I'd got everything I needed, and that I was now ready to say, okay, I don't need to learn anymore. I don't need to push any further. I don't need to see through the eye of the freaking needle anymore. I've seen enough. I've done enough. Because these kind of experiences, you know, they take a long time to integrate.
Yeah.
Something like ayahuasca could take 6 months to a year to integrate. It does. It really changes like the layout of your life. It takes a lot to process. Something like going on a 2-month bikepacking trip in the wild, it can take a long time to process. Going through a tough breakup, a lot to process. But even falling into a new romance, it's also something that can be overly consuming.
Yeah.
When I say overly, this is kind of what I've realised with the thing about it being overly, because I thought that Final Fantasy was overly consuming, or more the YouTube. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got to switch it every half hour, the camera.
I don't know if there's a way I can change that or not, but I think it's just to stop it from getting corrupted. But
Well, yeah, what was I say? Oh, overly consuming.
yeah, about new relationships and
Yeah. They're so engrossing. They're so immersive.
yeah,
Kind of most anything that you've got going on that's very front and centre, the immediate things going on in your life,
yeah,
it consumes your entire thinking process. Day to day. The same as, and that's where really the channel came from. It's when I was just mashing Final Fantasy every day. And if I wasn't playing a Final Fantasy, I was reading about it. If I wasn't reading, I was writing about it.
Yeah.
Just day in, day out. Everything was about FF, and my thoughts would stay in that place. It would naturally just flow out, and you kind of just get lost in these little sub-realities, these sort of subplots, and you're kind of removed from what's actually going on, what's actually real, what's actually happening around you, the present, and kind of the beauty that can be experienced in the present moment.
yeah,
That's what I found, the amount of presence that I had. And it took me a long time to get to real presence on that cycling trip, especially. Because you've got 10 hours, more than 10 hours. You're outside all day, every day with nothing to distract you.
yeah,
Nothing. And even then, for the first 2 weeks, my monkey mind just getting lost in all of these daydreams. Some of it just nonsense, pure nonsense. And in fact, the longer it went on, the more nonsense my mind would just get lost in.
yeah.
And it was after those 2 weeks where it sort of cleared. I wasn't thinking anymore. Everything. I was just taking in everything, taking in where the sun was, what the breeze felt like. How beautiful that field of flowers looked. Cheesy stuff. Full-blown Stilton, cheddar, brie, camembert. Stinking bishop. Just really emerged. And the beautiful feeling and quality that accompanies true presence.
Especially when you do that, obviously that trip was on your own through like the last part of it. So you didn't even have another person there really. Like I guess you didn't see many other people for like days on end sometimes.
Oh yeah. Not so, less so in Europe. There would be cases of that. Not see people for a few days. Scotland was that for 5-6 days at times. And what I found is that complete state of presence. You can still have that when you're doing things. Having a real presence with the game that you're playing. I was reading a thing, game of Burnout. That's something that a lot of gamers experience where they're not really connecting with the game. They're just sort of going through the motions. They're just sort of chucking a blanket on because they don't really want a game, but that's better than stepping away and not playing games.
Yeah.
Because that invokes a drop in dopamine, a drop in endorphins.
Yeah.
And they don't really know what they're going to feel that with.
Yeah.
So whenever they step away, they feel a bit crap. But whenever they keep playing, well, they're still feeling kind of crap.
Yeah.
And now you're trapped. You're trapped in a freaking loop.
And I've had that a few times. I've had quite a few times. Especially, I find that I've noticed that I know when I'm going through that phase because I will play games that are less meaningful.
Yeah,
when I'm into games, I'll be playing like long RPGs, like with adventure-based games where I can really get into the characters and that, like Red Dead and Fallout. When I'm not into games, I can tell that I'll be playing stuff like Call of Duty every now and then, maybe a bit over Overwatch. So even then, they're just not. It's just something
you're filling a void, right?
You're filling the void, and you come away from it not really feeling anything from it. Like it's just like you don't feel satisfied with it. You don't feel. Yeah, it's weird.
I had a real stint of that where all I was playing was Overwatch. I didn't even care about climbing at this point. Even the passion for climbing and doing well. I wasn't looking to master the characters. I was just playing about, and at the same time, I've just got TV shows playing, and not even different TV shows. I'm just watching the same ones on loop again and again and again. I'm not laughing at them anymore. I'm not finding them funny. Yeah. I'm just doing it. I'm just going through emotion with it. And you're not present. You're not present with the thing that you're consuming. But yeah, what I kind of realised is being away from it all and having that kind of feeling of intense presence, and I've got there through meditation and other practices, and it can get so addictive. Even that can get so addictive. All I want to do, I can fully understand why some people chuck off all the material aspects of life, they head up into the mountain and they become monks. Or just cave dwellers.
Honestly, it does sound pretty appealing.
Sometimes it does, right?
I think we've spoken about it.
Who hasn't at some point daydreamed just throwing off civilization and society as a whole, getting a chunk of land and space somewhere, and just letting the world fall around you.
Because we've been we've been doing as part of the morning practice. We've been doing qigong, haven't we? And the guy that does it I think he's a German. He's in the Shaolin temple in Germany.
He's a Taoist.
And I'm like, how many times have you sort of thought, I would actually love to go to there and train with him and see what they do and live there even just for a month or something like that.
Yeah, and they make their entire lives based around finding that intense awareness, that intense presence at the moment. But what I've heard some monks and yogis, and it's why a lot of monks come out and they start serving the world, and even this guy creating a YouTube channel and inviting people to the monastery, is that I think Ramdas said it. He said, "Oh, you think you're so enlightened, sat here in this temple up on this hilltop?
Yeah.
If you think you're so enlightened, go spend a week with your family."
Yeah.
And it kind of rung to me while I was out sort of cycling. It's all well and good, sort of being detached from everything. But there's also this side of me this is what life is about. That is kind of getting lost in these joys and these wonders and in the play of it all. And that while we might lose ourselves completely in these arcs, like if you do get into a relationship, your life will become about that relationship. I'm sorry, it just will.
Yeah.
Especially if you're living together, it'll become this whole, sub-reality. You'll become an ecosystem of thoughts and emotions that are being exchanged and bounced around. And how much family as a whole can be that.
Yeah, for sure.
How much of a all-encompassing distraction.
Oh, definitely, massively.
And it's the environment, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what we were chatting about majorly, especially for you, because you were living at your family home, and you were saying yesterday, weren't you, how different already being out here feels.
Oh yeah. I was saying that it was just a sort of a tiredness, undescribable. And I know other people...
Just lethargy with it.
Just lethargy, it was lethargic. And I know of other people that have it, personally. And if they ever watch this, then they'll probably know who they are. But it's something that I felt, and I was, trying different things, trying different diets, trying to go to bed earlier and that, and was just waking up feeling the same. And granted, it is...
You're just feeling like you're tweaking around the edges, aren't you?
And granted, I had quit that job. Yeah, I was feeling lethargic through the year I was off, trying to do different things, even trying to learn. I wanted to pick up videography more and things like that. And even then, I just didn't have the enthusiasm to the passion to do it. Yeah. And come out here, been out here for near on 3 weeks now, is it maybe?
I think it's 3 weeks.
Haven't felt like that at all.
Yeah.
Just the environment. It's just because you're just filling your mind with new experience and you're not doing the same thing every day. And I think that's what people struggle with. I know it's hard. I appreciate, and we're both in a really good situation if we had to do this. I get that not everybody can do this sort of thing, but I feel like if you get too stuck into that sort of day-to-day grind, you are going to feel tired.
I think everyone owes it to themselves, because not everyone could do a trip like this, or a trip like the bikepacking one, or a trip like Aya. Maybe you can't do all of them, but I think everyone owes it to themselves to do something like it. Something like it, especially if that checkmate zone, is what I call it, a checkmate zone, where whether the environment has become a time capsule of all the things that have happened, aka a time capsule of all of the hardships that have gone on, all of the burnout that you've experienced, if you've just created if too much negative emotion has compounded in this particular environment, or you've just become uninspired. Inspiration. Oh my God, imagine that humans actually need to feel inspired. These kind of things that we just really overlook. I overlooked it massively with myself doing YouTube. I just kind of expected creativity to become that it was a limitless fountain that I would just always be able to draw from, no matter what. No matter the people I'm with, the things I digest, the attitude I bring into my day-to-day, or as we were saying, the environment that I was in. And that's just not the case.
No.
And the environment, you do. You kind of build a story around it, happenings, and it becomes a time capsule that kind of keeps you stuck there. I've seen it time and time again. So honestly, if any of that resonates with anyone, that you feel in that lethargic, uninspired place, and you've been there for a while, I feel like you owe yourself to take a step back, imagine that thing that you've always wanted to do. I would encourage that thing that you're imagining that you want to do, not to just be based on enjoyment or something as trivial as what makes me happy or what sounds fun. Picture something that's going to make you grow. What do you need to get over? What do you need to learn? What's a part of you that you know is a weakness? What's your Achilles heel? And how are you going to address that? How are you going to harden it? What is the discomfort that you're avoiding? That if you just carve out a little space and time and you plan it right, you go at it with the right focus and intention. Intention is everything. And a goddamn Final Fantasy story that ever started or finished without a strong intention. And those moments of affirmation and clear conviction. These are the kind of powerful narrative drives that can push you through to everything, and push you beyond what you think you're capable of. And finding an environment that allows you to do that, irreplaceable, invaluable, for sure. We've just been scatting like crazy. It's cool though, it's cool. It's cool. Are you checking the camera again?
I just want to I get paranoid over it.
Well, anyway,
It's got 17 minutes.
I don't know what we just spoke about really. I'm still full of a lot of drugs and a lot of painkillers, which is sometimes a nice feeling. It's also very heavy. It's very cloudy. I'm hoping it's not going to... I've never really done a course of painkillers and this intensity of medication before.
No.
But I do hope it kind of lifts off. But again, it's not something I can just hope. Something that we've got the power to work towards. So getting up this morning, getting in that cold shower, getting some oxygen in your lungs, doing a bit of a stretch. Do you reckon any of these Final Fantasy characters, they get up in the morning and they just strap their sword on and they just head out? No. These are parts of Final Fantasy. I mean, this is what 15 could have been, bros on the road, showing a day-to-day experience. But they didn't really double down on that. It was just sort of sat around a camp cooking.
They made it seem very...
where did they take a shit? I want to see a scene where they're in the flat plains of Dusky and there's nowhere to shit. There's one bush. And Prompto's claimed the shitting bush. What do they do when they wake up? Do they have a stretch? Who's groggy? Who's a night owl and who's a bit of a morning slug?
You don't see that in a lot of stuff, really.
I want to see Aerith, Cloud and the gang up in the morning doing their stretching by the river. I want Aerith to be guiding them through a yoga sesh.
Aerith yoga sesh.
Yeah, just Tifa and Aerith running a morning yoga sesh before they head off. Man, I would mash downward facing dog on Tifa.
I thought this video was about Game of Burnout. It was. We did touch on it a bit.
Yeah, and it just ties with...
There's a lot of other stuff, isn't there, in Burnout that you address, like the environment you're in and what your day-to-day life is like. And
it's the habits that you're creating around it. Gamers are notoriously bad for being very undisciplined, unroutined individuals. Because it's such an easy thing to switch on, and it's so time-consuming. Unlike any other medium, do you know what I mean? A movie, even if you slack on a movie, that bug is only going to last 2.5 hours max. Even if you sit and binge 5 episodes on something, I mean, you've almost gone through a season. But with a video game, you've got 40 hours of content right there.
Yeah.
Well, we was also discussing that, like the kind of games that create burnout as well. Because, I mean, 40 hours, I mean, if we were looking at FF14, weren't we? It kind of blew my mind to see that World of Warcraft to get to current content, despite it having 8 expansions, only takes 20 hours to get to current content.
They've done a massive overhaul on the levelling process, because I think...
That blows my
Blizzard
mind.
Felt that WoW was... And I've seen people... Like, I've never had that. I've never ever had that with WoW. Like, when I was into it, Like, I would happily level up a character from 1, if I wanted to level in a character from 1 to 0. But I've had so many people that I've tried to get into WoW who have been put off by it because they haven't been able to get past like level 20.
Level 20, yeah.
And it's like,
but I mean, for me, that game, for WoW, that doesn't really have like 14, a very solid and consistent story narrative. For WoW, whoa.
What was that? Is that a fish?
I think a giant fish just did a jump. Yeah, there's some big ones lurking in the deep.
Ones, yeah.
Maybe we should do some fishing episodes. Monsters of the deep. But for me, getting to level 80, well, what is it now? 100 in WoW?
It's better down to 60 actually.
Oh, they've compressed it.
They've done a number crunch.
But I mean, it was a rite of passage. But to now see 14 that only has 4 expansions, that's 400 hours. 400 hours.
But that's
insane time.
That's obviously
insane time commitment.
Such good compared to WoW. You've got, and probably I haven't played 14 all the way through. I think I played up to Heaven's Ward. I need to go past it because I have got the other expansions as well because I just bought them. But they've all got such fleshed out stories, haven't they? In a way, like I'm sure it gets better. I'm sure like, the first one wasn't as good and it gets better as it goes along. But WoW didn't really have that. Like there wasn't. There's even like in vanilla WoW, there wasn't really a actual narrative. Like it was back side quests.
I didn't know nothing about no one.
It was more about when the raids came out that you had stories of like for some reason why these characters had appeared.
It was only when the movie came around with what's the warlock, the dark warlock?
Medivh.
Nah, not Medivh.
Oh, Gul'dan.
Gul'dan, yeah. It's only around then I started picking up any kind of arcs of story in WoW.
I did quite a bit of sort of reading in the backlore and that with WoW. Like, I know, not as much as some people, but I've quite enjoyed it. But it's one of those things.
But I mean, WoW stands as the game that I've had the most intense and potent game of Burnout with.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, I definitely have.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think it's also... It's the game of themselves, how they interact with it, their general habits and life. You know, if they haven't got energy and passion for other things going on in their life, why are they going to have that level of energy and passion for video games? You know, so sometimes I do feel that gamers unrealistically want games to bring them a certain level of joy and satisfaction and fulfillment that they're not necessarily working for. And that's why you get some individuals, and I've been there myself, where you're just looking at all games, you're like, gaming is dead. It's shit, all gaming. It's not about me. It's about the gaming industry. And it can be, because there are things that developers do to induce burnout in their gamers. I mean, for me, the reason why I burnt out on WoW, it was the terrible quality of expansions. It was the 2v2 arenas. 2v2 teams getting no awards, no achievements, no mounts, nothing changing. I'm standing on the same bloody wall, you know, the Great Wall in Mr. Pandaria? Or running around on Orgrimmar Bank. I've been stood on this like 4x4 tile for like a year and a half because there's no reason for me to leave it. I can instance and queue for everything on the spot.
Yeah.
So I'm just running around circles. And there are things that games can do to, or like 15. There's Burnout for that. I had Burnout for that. By the time things were coming around like the Bro DLCs, I was a bit burnt out, but they were good enough to bring me back into it.
Yeah.
Not enough to make me play them on repeat, but then when they started doing the Assassin's Creed thing, or that Terra DLC, one of Sakaguchi's games, and that just finished me off in the Burnout category.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about this on another video,
Yeah.
the DLC that got cancelled, to think that those DLCs happened.
Yeah, it's
Except for
lined up.
we're going to go through it. Somnus's Betrayal and the DLC that got cancelled, because
I feel like I played 15 at a good time, because I played the Windows version, so I had everything there.
Yeah.
So I was able to like play through 15. So we didn't touch any of the side quests, and then went straight into the DLC afterwards. And I think that sort of probably was a better experience for me. Like, I don't know how it would have been for people that had sort of played through 15, and I don't know how long you had to wait for the DLC to come out. It was, I suppose, the Burnout was different. I didn't have that Burnout with it, because I just got to experience it all, and that was it. I wouldn't want to go back and play it again, but I experienced it. Was my first Final Fantasy game, so.
Yeah, and then Burnout, just from where you're naturally at in your life, if there's certain things unanswered. Whoa! Yo, there he is. Giant lizard.
How's he coming down?
Oh, should we?
I got to get loads of videos from him the other day.
Oh my God.
He won't come in.
He's huge. Wow. Man, that thing, if he whipped you with his tail...
Yeah, he would break your leg.
He would take your legs, Scott.
I don't know if you might see him swim past, but I have some footage of him anyway, so I can put him on there.
Yeah, that tail would crack your legs like walnuts.
Yeah.
Jeez. And yeah, rounding this vid out because it's a bit scary, but this is kind of a format. I think it would just be really, really chill. Cover all the things that have been happening.
I've enjoyed it.
Honestly, just picking things from Final Fantasy that like reintroduce my love of it. Because that's another thing about Passions and Burnout, is sometimes you just need to go back and find what it is that you love about it.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't know why Final Fantasy 4 has been that tether. Just going back, watching scenes from 4, listening to some of the music, it's like the most unspoiled, untainted, nostalgic memory I've got of Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
I've never streamed it. It was just something I played by myself, 2D, and it's just so simple, and just listen to it, it's just invokes a massive love in me, and I feel like that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go around watching all the scenes, all the moments. I've been going back through some of the stream moments that we had, just laughing at them, chuckling at them.
Yeah, but it's going to be an opportunity. We've spoken about this as well, haven't we? But I'd like to be able to see it as a series that we can do, that I can play some Final Fantasy games I haven't touched.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot. Like, as somebody who has not experienced many of the Final Fantasies, I'm going to just try to sometimes throw, we can play some games, but also just throw some, maybe out of context, descriptions of the stories at you. We'll do some quizzy whizzies, because you've heard me waffle about Final Fantasy enough over the years. I'm curious how much you actually know.
I think I know.
I reckon you do.
Not loads, but I know.
We'll test it. We'll test it. So, when I'm actually going to be back to streams, I'm not entirely sure. It depends how long this takes to heal.
Yeah, for sure. And what game we need to decide a game as well, don't we? Really, like what we're going to play. But
whether I'm going to lose my arm, whether I've got nerve damage, I still don't even know if I've got nerve damage. No. I'm going to get this arm back. There's been moments where I'm not even sure whether this is going to heal at all. But I can't think that way.
No,
I can't think that way. Because what would Spartans do? What would Zach do, man? Would any of my Final Fantasy mofos, my choke bros, my choke hosts, would they give in to despair? Do you think Oren was like, oh, Jack, I might help you, son, but my arm, man. My arm. I can't do it, man.
Push through.
You got to push through. That is what I shall do. It's really quiet right now.
Yeah, it is.
Earlier there was some bug thing. It was
like, if anybody hears that sort of weird screeching sound, it's not the mics, it's some...
There's things out here that screech.
Bug that freaking screeches, and it sounds like an electrical...
A cicada bug.
It's called a cicada, yeah.
Man, this guy, some sort of zoologist. Oh yeah, that's That's an imperial butterfly. Oh yeah, that's a Monroca lizard. Oh, that's a Mimichi spider.
Should I start doing a little sort of?
I swear
like
you make it
series?
up. What, bugs?
No, and like wildlife series for the peasants.
Ginger Attenborough. Oh, I'd feel a bit remiss if we
Here he
didn't.
goes.
Oh yeah, off he goes swimming. I'd also feel a little bit remiss if we didn't say rip to the Queen before we ended this.
Oh yeah,
Queen of England's just
She
died.
definitely has gone, hasn't she? Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause I feel like
today, this morning, I think. Mixed bag of feelings, depending on how
yeah, she's done.
anti-monarchy or pro-monarchy you are.
I was going to say I've never been pro or anti-monarchy. Like, yeah, it was quite sad.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Queen.
Yeah.
She's
Probably one of the
she's
best
done
monarchs
a
in-
lot of years of service and work, and yeah, there is a little side. My inner British DNA. I was saying it's like the Attack on Titan Titans. Like she's the head Titan, the OG Titan, the founder Titan, Ymir, and that you feel a natural affinity for her, I guess. I don't know.
So rest in peace, Queen.
Yeah, rest in peace. Sad. Anyway, guys, this was a nice little trial vid
Yeah.
for this format.
I enjoyed it.
The only thing is it's ball-sweatingly uncomfortable. I'm so glad technology hasn't evolved to the point where they can smell through it right now, because I'm in desperate need of a shower and a ball wash.
Yeah.
It's so muggy out here, isn't it? What we've come to realise is about quantity, not quality. So we're just going to poo out content in the most stripped back, laid back, easy going, sort of just chat and scat.
Yeah.
Throw it around, watch trailers, do anything. And a lot of people have been telling me as well, branch out from Final Fantasy as well.
Yeah.
Talk about other games, talk about Persona, talk about Nier, talk about Kingdom Hearts, all the other exciting series that I have a passion for. Oh, I don't know if I can because this is Final Fantasy Peasant. Maybe I'll do these sort of things on Full Fantasy Peasant more.
There's obviously other bits and pieces that I think you should experience as well.
Yeah.
Game series that you sort of spoke about. I think playing the Assassin's Creed games or not. My Bree's sort of into that, isn't she? So
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
something I'm into.
Other games and series and spirals that I want to...
Obviously, your focus will still be on Final Fantasy.
Oh, it always will be, but especially because we've got TGS
Yes.
on...
Is it the 15th?
the 15th. Well, yeah, we've got TGS coming up in about a week, and I'm pretty sure 16 and 7 Remake
Yeah, 15th.
has been confirmed for it.
Oh.
Pretty
Okay.
sure.
I think 6, yes, I've definitely seen 16.
Was 7 Remake not confirmed yet? What else was on their roster? There was no KH4 on there. Oh yeah, no, it wasn't 7 Remake, it was a Crisis Core Reunion.
Yeah.
Oh, and Forspoken, of which we still have not watched the 10-minute trailer. Some Octopath, FF Trading card game. This is funny, I was editing Jennifer McDurpington last night. I'll have to show you guys a video on stream. Yeah, because we've been creating assets for the streams, just funny moments from the past. Square Enix's cringiest stream of all time. Final Fantasy Tactics Ogre Reborn. That's going to be their 14. A stroll with Yoshi P.
That sounds cool.
Just a stroll. Power Wash Simulator.
Power Wash Simulator.
Valkyrie Elysium, nice. Saga Series, Dio Field Chronicle, yada yada yada. Anyway, you guys probably know. So we will have that, which we will definitely live stream.
Yeah, it should be a good
That'll
time
dope.
for us as well to live stream, because it's going to be Asia time, isn't it? So
Yeah.
much fun.
As always, guys, I would love, in fact, I would need, it would heal the monkey scourge in my arm if you were to tell me, what is it you kind of think we should cover?
Yes.
Well, me and Ginge, we've got this space.
Yeah.
What's the sort of content?
Yeah, give us ideas.
Yeah, give us ideas. Games or series or things I've ever done in the past that I should bring back. Just get it at us. Go wild with it, guys.
How many people do you think say 14? Play 14.
Oh, yeah, a lot. Yeah, whenever I throw that out, that's just immediately what I get back. And 14 will be happening. Trust me. It's as much pain as I can bear. I haven't been up with the new expansion. It is hurting. Just know it's hurting. Okay, but we will. I will get round to it.
I'd like to get around to it at some point as well.
Yeah. I mean, you made a fair bit of progress. You got to the Heavens Award.
Heaven's Ward stuff. And
Yeah.
Then I changed to Samurai for a bit to try that, but
Oh, so you did get up to Stormblood then?
no, you can get a Samurai at level 50, but you didn't need to get to the Stormblood stuff. You can.
Oh
just
right.
change
Oh
it to
yeah. Oh
50.
right. Yeah.
But it was like learning an entirely new class again. I was like, no, let's go back to Lagoon. Like, let's do the jumping.
You're notoriously bad. You're a real shitter for that, you are. You were like this in WoW. Who'd used to have me level him up a character like level 80, spend months, and then he would I would spend like 4 mil gold on him to get him there. And then you would just go, oh, I'm done.
4 mil?
I'd spend a lot.
I would have to say now that I definitely play more WoW than you have, though. So I don't. Yes, because you didn't touch anything after Mr. Pandaria. I've literally touched every expansion since then.
That stuff don't count.
Yeah, it does. No. I've leveled up a lot more characters than you have on my own. You can't hold that against me the entire time now.
It's because you're just scary. You just never. Yeah. You just want to be jack of all trades, master of nothing.
Yeah.
Whereas, just give me my Winston with his Tesla cannon, and I will just. I'm a one-trick man. I'm a one-trick kind of guy. I'm not good at games, but I know how to exploit one particular character or mechanical class. Oh, bring back job classes in Final Fantasy. I keep saying it, but it's still wild to me that Final Fantasy is like the series for job classes: berserkers, dragoons, monks, priests. And 14, of course, we get to pick and quick switch between, which is cool. I much prefer that. I was thinking, but in terms of main lines. Damn, man, we had 5, and then we didn't have job classes again until 10.2. Bring them back. We got some job classes that we're going to be able to spiral through with Strangers in Paradise.
Oh, yeah.
Jack can switch between characters. Oh, we just saw there's a new expansion for that.
Yeah.
Is there 3 now? I think there was the Warrior
of Light one, and then there's the...
There was a Bahamut one, I think, weren't there?
Was there?
I don't know. Now there's a new one that's called Wanderer. That looks very, very Japanese. Asking for comments, likes, and subscribes. Is that something... we do. I don't give a shit.
No, just if you
do you give a fuck?
Not really. If you like it, like it.
Yeah, if you don't, like it.
Dislike it anyway.
Yeah. No matter what, like the video.
And hit the bell icon.
Yeah, and then once you've hit the bell icon, go into the subcategories of the bell icon. Make sure you switch it to always notified.
Yeah.
So that regardless of how you're feeling, whether you want to see our ugly mugs, you won't have any choice. We will be served up to you algorithmically, and you will consume it until you A, get bored of us again and get burnout, or you love us unconditionally.
Yes.
Hopefully the latter.
Yeah, hopefully that.
Peace out, guys.
See you later, guys.